Hey, Peter.
Hey, Jeremy. Good to see you in person.
Yeah, this is bizarre to be
It's a first for
live
sure.
in person together.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is episode 1
Yeah.
of season 2. And actually, it would have been episode 0, but the
Yeah.
podcasting gods do not allow a season episode 0 of
Yeah.
anything.
For some good reason.
so, so, so yeah, really, this is a short episode. We wanted to talk about what our reflections on the last season
Yeah.
and what we're thinking about on this season.
Yeah. And then just explain a little bit and discuss because we didn't specify all the details, but just explain a bit where we want to go. So, how was season 1 for you?
So first of all, I think one of the birth of season 1 was really from our
Yeah.
conversations that we enjoyed so much. And at
Yeah.
times there was some real great stuff in our weekly calls that we said, let's try a podcast.
Yeah.
I learned a lot from it. I got a lot out of doing it. We went way too long on, even when we tried, we went way too long.
Yeah.
And honestly, I found we experimented in different directions. We started with the live broadcast.
Oh, yeah. That stopped quickly.
That stopped really quickly, but there were some advantages to the live broadcast when it came to the editing. And then because we had video as well, the editing with video was more complicated. But I will say that I just, like, my biggest takeaway from season 1 was I had a great conversation with you, but I think a lot of the gold was really deeply buried, far, and very inaccessible for people.
I had a very good feedback coming from someone who said, this is great because I know you guys. If I wouldn't know you, I don't think I would listen to this. I say I love this kind of honest feedback, and it made me think this person was totally right. Like we have 1.5 hours, something like this, unstructured rambling about important topics with some good thoughts in there. But even I would struggle if I would want to search for something and find it. So yeah, that was one of the big learnings for me also. Even I also enjoyed a lot our unstructured discussions, and the whole title of this podcast, the retrospective, was about just let's do that. Let's talk about what we wrote about. And, but still I agree that we need a bit more structure. That's one of the learnings.
Yeah. And I think both of us are deeply motivated by a purpose.
Yeah.
And we're finding that this format, or hopefully the format that we're going to talk about and evolve to, can have we want to help people. That's why we're writing our newsletters. That's why we're putting stuff out there. And I think both of us want to have something that can have a wider reach of impact. We're not thinking about monetization or anything like that right now. Or maybe I take a step back. It would be amazing if stuff that we did on the side in a bit of our spare time could have a wide enough impact that it's something that could become a day job. But I think the reality is it's not going to be like that for anytime soon for us.
I think the emphasis is on the anytime soon. Like at this phase, I'm looking at more of the experimentation value. And as you said, one of the purposes to help others. I know a lot of entry-level engineering managers who I could help a lot and who you could help a lot and whose this content can be very useful. But the other value or purpose for me is just having this, when I'm preparing for an episode or a topic, I learn a lot of stuff. I organize my thought and just read the newsletter.
Exactly.
It's a good goal. Yeah.
Until you write it down, you haven't really learned.
Yeah.
And that's the other value I have all of this. And I think the format we'll move to is going to accentuate that somehow.
Exactly. Let's talk a bit about what we already know we're going to change in season 2.
Yeah. So I think, first of all, we're zeroing in much more on a persona. I think we were very broad, talking about engineering and everything, but I think the persona that's closest to our heart is engineering managers, people who want to become engineering managers, people who are in that earlier stage.
Like tech leads.
Yeah. I mean, with our experience, we may touch more on the more senior end of that as well, but we're really focusing in on that engineering manager.
I see it as a spectrum, like starting from an ambitious IC and ending somewhere around starting to think about managing managers.
Yeah. And we feel like that the audio format is...
Oh yeah, that's very important. Like one of the learnings for me was that post-processing takes a huge amount of time. As we are recording this, we still haven't published 2 episodes from season 1.
They're half edited.
Yeah. I think the more content we have, the more time it and video, it just forces you to be a bit more pedantic and a bit more spend more time on ironing out a little. Yes. That was one of the learning. And the second one was one day I just put on our podcast in an audio format during a walk, and I got surprised how much easier I can follow the content, how more intimate it feels, just having just the audio. So I think for these two reasons, let's do audio in season 2.
Yeah. We want to be keeping it simple.
Yeah.
One of the other things is that like in post, it's much easier to correct just audio and that kind of thing. So that's the format. And I think the other format change that we wanted to make is shorter.
Definitely, for sure.
20, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you want to talk about then the kind of approach that we're taking in terms of the actual.
Yeah, sure. So I think another learning is that we need to be more focused on the content and more have some kind of atomic contents. Have one episode about one topic. I think we didn't discuss this before, but I think we are dropping the topics like talking about news, talking about events, stuff like this. Because I mean, that's interesting for us. Everyone can find commentary about stuff. I feel like we need to really focus on one where we can have an better value. So what we are planning is having every episode about one topic, and the format we have in mind is having engineering leadership challenges as topics for shows like, I don't know, for example, team focus interruption, technical interviews. We want to get the scope small enough so we can comfortably cover it in half an hour. We really feel the risk of scope creep and going too long. So I think we're going to be very specific in our episodes. We try to find topics that can be seasonal, like that are actual now.
Yeah, relevant to the world.
Relevant, that was the word I was looking for. Thanks. Yeah. And of course, topics where we have concrete first-hand experience in handling situations.
Yeah.
So that's the experiment. I think we're going to have, 8, 10, 12 episodes in the season. Another thing is that I really enjoyed, most of us I know really enjoyed the interviews we were doing. Yeah. One of them was already published. The other one still in the pipes, let's just say.
We had some technical gremlins and to re-record.
Yeah, but I really enjoyed the interview situation. So that's going to be the exception. I think in season 2, we're going to do some interviews also. We already have some ideas and that's going to be an exception.
Yeah, we really enjoyed the interviews. They added a dimension and we want to just continue that, maybe have them focus around the topics that we're doing.
Oh yeah, definitely. If we invite someone, just like before, Benoit was about the 4-day week. This one in the pipes is going to be about being hired. And yeah, we have a few ideas.
Obviously, when people hear this, hopefully we'll have done that interview as the end of one.
This is the podcast editing time travel. Come on.
We're recording this in my house in the south of France.
Oh yeah.
We've spent a few days. Peter's on holiday in France, and we managed to grab a few days together, biking together, eating, and doing some sightseeing in Montpellier.
Yeah. No, this was an amazing few days, and I think it gave us also a good opportunity to discuss where we want to go with this podcast and maybe do some recordings like this.
Exactly. So yeah, I think that's it. This might be our shortest podcast episode that we've ever done, Peter. But I think that's a taste of what we want to have, is a little bit more focus on and just getting to the meat.
Yeah. We will try to keep some kind of regular cadence. I don't think we settled on weekly or bi-weekly or what we're gonna do, but the goal is to have a regular cadence and some kind of plan of episodes. So we can already say that the first episode in second season or the second after this intro is going to be about quiet quitting in a week or 2. And see you there.
Yeah. So thanks to all of those who gave us feedback on season 1. And
thanks, very useful.
And please, if you find what we're doing in season 2 helpful, please do spread the word. Like and subscribe, feed the algorithms, because every other creator tells you what to do.